Welcome to the new series. So, we are going to solve some of the LeetCode problems. So, those of you who are not aware of LeetCode, so LeetCode is a website where they have tons of questions that have been asked in an interview by top companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and many other companies. So, you could go create your account and start solving the question. So when you go to the problems tab, you'll come across many questions. So you will try to solve it. I'll be using Python to solve the problems. You may take any other language of your choice in which you are comfortable and use the corresponding approach in that language to solve this question. Okay, so let's start. So the question we have is called to sum and it has been labeled as easy. So this is one of the easy problems that is asked in an interview. So the question says you are given an array of integers nums. So nums will be an array of integer values and an integer target. Return indices of the two number such that they add up to the target. Okay, you may assume that each input would have exactly one solution and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. Okay, so let's start. So the first example which we have is we have this nums array 2, 7, 11 and 15. We are given the target 9. So the output will be 0 and 1 because it's a 0 based indexing. So our indexes will be 0, 1, 2 and 3. And as you can see 0, index 0 and index 1, 2 and 7 adds up to 9. So we return an array which returns 0 and 1. Okay. Then in second example, we have target as 6 and we need to find the indexes. So the output is 1 and 2. So 2 and 4. Okay, similarly, third example where we return 0 and 1 because 0 and 1. You can't use 0 comma 0 because the question says we cannot actually use it because you cannot, the constraint is you cannot use the same element twice. Okay. So for example, you come across this question in an interview and you don't know the efficient approach. So what you can do is come up with the brute force approach, which may be not that efficient, but you should keep talking to the interviewer so that he knows that, okay, you are aware of some of the concept. So for example, in this case, one of the easiest approach would be by taking, for example, one loop which will iterate over the first element and other loop which will iterate over to the remaining element. So we'll take two for loops. So at first for loop 2 will be fixed and then we iterate over 7, 11 and 15. So in this case we'll get the answer in the first go itself. But for in this case, for example, let's say I start with 3. I take 3 and 2, add it, I get 5, which is not equal to target. So I move ahead, then go 4, 3 and 4, 7, not equal to the target. So what I'll do is now not fix 3, I'll fix 2. So now I fix 2 and I do 2 and 4, I get the answer, I return. And this solution is going, this way of solving is slightly inefficient, but yes, you can get the answer. So the complexity over here would be O of n square. So you could come up with this solution as well, so that interview knows, okay, you know something about coding and how to solve a problem. But for example, if you want to come with a nicer approach where the complexity is slightly less, so we'll use the data structure called dictionary. So as we know that dictionary has key and value pair. So intuitively what you can do is, for example, let's say I have I'll start with 2. Okay, what I'll do is I'll find the complement of it. So complement will be, we'll do target and minus the value we are going to traverse. So first I'm going to start with 2. So my complement will be target minus nums, which is 7. Okay, my complement is 7. So what I'll do is I'll create a dictionary and see whether 7 exists in my dictionary or not. So if 7 exists, what I'll do is I'll return the index of 7 and the current index of the element I'm traversing. So for example, we start off with empty dictionary. We come with 2 and we find the complement which does not exist. Okay, so 7, since it's an empty dictionary, 7 does not exist. So what I'll do is I'll save 2 in my dictionary, and 2 will be my key and value will be the index of 2. Okay, now I'll go to 7. Now my complement in the next iteration will be 9 minus 7, which is 2. So I'll check now this 2 whether it is present in my dictionary or not. So here we can see that okay, my dictionary has 2 in it. So what I'll do is I return the value associated with it, which is 0, the index, and the current value. So current value will be 7 and its index will be 1. So I'll return a list where it will have 0 and 1 in it. Okay, so this is the way we are going to solve, and in this way our complexity will be reduced from O of n square to O of n. So we have reduced the complexity from n square to linear complexity, so which is very good in terms as compared to O of n square. Okay, so now let's code this and let's try to solve it. Okay, so what I'll do is first of all I'll create a dictionary. So let's start writing it. So I'll create a dictionary and it will be an empty dictionary. Then what I'll do is I'll loop through each element in my array. So for I in range length of nums, for example in this case would be 4. So I'll iterate from 0 to 3 because in Python 4 isn't considered. So it will iterate from 0 to 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now what I'll do is try to find the complement. So my complement will be target minus the current element I am accessing. So for example, when we start with this, so in first I'll get complement is equal to target is 9, and here nums will be 2. Nums of I will be 2 because it starts with 0, so nums of 0 is 2. So I'll get this. Then I'll check whether dictionary dot get. So I could have done something like this as well, so dictionary of complement, but for example if the complement doesn't exist in our dictionary, it will throw an error. So we have this method called get in dictionary, where if we don't get the answer, it returns none. So if complement isn't present in our dictionary, it will return none. So what I'll do is I'll equal to none. So if the element is not present in our dictionary, what I'll do is I'll save the number, which is 2, in the dictionary, and the value associated will be the index. So we'll have over here we'll have an index. So we'll create, so here we will be having a dictionary where for example here 2 will be saved because 2 isn't present in the dictionary because at the beginning dictionary is empty. So we'll save this 2, and the value associated with it will be 0 because 0 is the index. Okay, but for example if we have the value, so what we'll do is in the else case what I'll do is I'll return a list with dictionary of complement and the current index of the element I'm accessing. So in this case what happens here is, for example, I start with 2, I saved its index which is 0, Next, I move on to the second element, which is 7 over here. I go to the complement part, so I'll get the complement as target minus numsI. So target is 9 and 9 minus 7 is 2. So I'll check if dictionary dot get complement. So in dictionary it will check whether complement exists or not. In this case we have the complement in the dictionary, so what it will do is it will skip this if and go over to the else element, and it will return a list which will have dictionary of complement. So dictionary of complement is, so in this case dictionary of 2, and the value associated with it is 0, and then the index of the element we are currently traversing. So currently we are accessing this 7 and the index is 1, so it will return 0 comma 1. So this is our answer. And okay, now let's clear the screen and let's try to run the code and see whether it runs and whether our solution is correct or not. Okay, so it's accepted, and when I press the submit button, you could see, okay, so it's faster than 89.68% of the user, and our runtime is 44 millisecond. Okay, so if I try to submit it again, so it's 74.93. So basically what I think is that the speed of the internet also matters when we try to submit the solution. So that's why it shows 74.93 this time and it showed 88 the previous time. So maybe there's a bug. I don't know whether it's a bug or a feature actually. So yeah, so okay, so that's it, I guess. So this is the solution. You could try this, and yeah, probably you'll get the answer correct. So okay, I guess that's it, and see you next time.